Hi guys, Jeff here. This is a bit of a different video, but still quite useful. We'll be talking about deciding which route you would like to learn when you start running Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First and any percent, and at what points you want to switch routes or adapt your route. So there's a lot of different, slightly different things you can do in this game, as far as routing is concerned, but there's sort of three main fast routes, I would say. Got the full RTSR bandit route. Got the late RTSR bandit route, where you don't do the main game with RTSR, but you get RTSR for Guardian Dragon and Giant Lord, mainly just so you can get the consistent Guardian Dragon strat. And then you've got the Explorer route, which Prepaying Death did a tutorial for way back, and I'm not going to bother making notes for it. Just going to leave you the tutorial, mainly because I don't think this route's very good. I think it's too different from the optimal route to justify learning it, because you are going to have to relearn everything when you want to try and improve your time past something like a 58. Um, Additionally, none of the active runners at the moment, I haven't run this in over a year, I think, maybe just under a year. Nick's never run this. Fuja, I'm further aware, hasn't run this in over a year. Zyrelia's probably not run this in like 8 months. None of us, no one I know that is active in the community has run this, and this means that if you do ask any questions about how to do a fight with the Explorer route, we aren't going to know because we haven't done the fight with those damage values and that much stamina in so long, and we didn't optimize it when we did. It's the main reason. So your only source of information, basically, if you're doing this route, is the hour-and-a-half video by Prepaying Death. So I'm going to talk about the other two routes a bit more. Okay, one last thing. The only reason I've even mentioned this route as an option is because while I think it sucks, it is easy. It is an easy route, which means if your goal is just, I would like to get on the Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First and any percent leaderboards with as little effort as possible. I don't really care about getting a good time out of it ever. I never want to go for world record. Just want to get on the leaderboard. This route's going to do you good enough. You can just follow the tutorial, do a few runs, get a semi-decent time, I suppose, and get on the leaderboard. But I wouldn't recommend this for anyone that wants to seriously run this game. So let's go to the second slower one, the late RTSR route. This is the route I'd recommend learning. The advantages is that it's fairly easy. I mean, it's not easy. It's still like a scholar run, so it's like not easy, but it's nowhere near as bad as the full RTSR route. Most of the people that are running at the moment have run this in the past, and still do a lot of fights without RTSR and races and no reset runs and such, and as such, do actually know a decent bit about doing these fights and getting through areas with bandit stamina values. And it's very, very similar as a route to the full RTSR route, which means when you do want to swap over, it's very easy. One option you do have is to just start getting RTSR early and then adapting which fights you do RTSR for and which ones you don't do RTSR for. Although that's probably going to turn out slower than just doing late RTSR if you aren't doing enough bosses with RTSR. That makes sense. The example video I've put for this one is Zyrelia's high 56 PB. Technically not the best run with this boot. If you check the obsoleted runs here, then Prepaying Death himself has a high 55 with a no RTSR route, although that's a bit different, kind of a weird route, in my opinion. Fujo, again, with a sort of slightly weirder no RTSR out. It's faster, and Nick has a 5-second faster one again with the no RTSR out, but decided to put Xyvelius up there mainly because I think it's closest to what I would consider the optimal full RTSR route in terms of the route he takes. It's very, very similar. The full RTSR bandit route. And it's got nice music. Like, listen to this. Nice.
I feel really out of.
Nice little Minecraft rain sound effects. It's very, very relaxing. That's why I've left that one as the example. And I've made notes for the early RTSR and the late RTSR routes, which I'll link below. The full RTSR route I wouldn't recommend learning unless you want to get a very good time. I would say adopt this route at your own peril, because I have only ever finished 2 runs with this route, Deathless, and they're both on the leaderboard, and I really don't want to ever have to do another one. But this is the optimal route. If you want to compete, if you want to be, you know, up here, you are going to have to use this route, unfortunately. I'm sorry, just are. It's does have the advantage that it's constantly being optimized, so all of the active runners know pretty much exactly how every fight's going to go, which is nice. If you have any questions, we're going to be very easily able to help you. The example video I put for this one is actually my world record. At the time of making this could well be second place when you're watching this, because either Fujo or Nick's beaten it. I'll probably still leave it as the example video because it definitely matches up with my notes. And I know Fujo and Nick do some things differently to me. For example, they level 40-40, where I go 25-50 later on, and they pick up the Cart Soul in Majula instead of getting the Riverbone, start a Forest of Fallen Giants. Very, very small differences, but just for the sake of that, I'm going to leave mine as the example video if it's ever beaten. And yeah, that brings me on to my next point, which is there are a lot of different strategies you can start to adopt. And I've made a little spreadsheet showing all the sort of different sort of tricks like Net Jetpack or YOLO Armana or Jeff Jump. Cool on that one. And I've colored them based on when I think you should learn them. And I've listed the time save. For a lot of them, the time save isn't static because there's a lot of RNG involved. So I've just sort of put an estimate in which a variable, but for some of them it is a pretty consistent time save. And I've put a video example for all of them. You can check out if you want to see what a strat looks like. And sometimes I've justified why a time save is that or what it's compared against. But yeah, so in short, I'd recommend starting out using the late RTSR route, and then as you get better and more confident with that, start adopting some of the harder strats from here. Maybe start picking up RTSR early and using it for most bosses, and skipping some of the harder ones, or the harder RTSR setups, like maybe you do fully RTSR except for Demon of Song, Velstadt, and Congregation, which I would say are probably the 3 hardest with RTSR. And start to build it up that way. But yeah, just giving you all the tools really to make your own informed decisions, test your own stuff, find a fast route that works for you, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, I'll leave links to both of these in the description. That's about it then. See ya.